we're going to do what is called 7-Eleven breakfast. 7-Eleven is my favorite because there's a gas station named 7-Eleven, and I use that when I work with children as a reminder. You know, it helps for you to learn new things by connecting it and grounding it to something. And so we're going to inhale through our nose, okay, for 7 and exhale for 11. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale, blowing through a straw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're gonna do one more. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale through your straw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. Notice what you feel. If you feel a little lightheaded, if you feel a little lightheaded, it may be because your brain needed that. That is a cue that you've been depriving yourself of some good oxygen, breathing to survive, but not to thrive. And so that's what we just did then. We switched the air in on purpose. So now that I got the thumbs up, that was just getting us primed and ready. Now we're hitting the floor, ready to run. So the truth is today that there's lots of distractions. There are lots of things that we can do to stay busy, but it takes courage to slow down. It takes courage to be in the moment. It takes courage to be vulnerable, even if it's just in thoughts, not out loud. And so that is what today is all about. The Mentally Free Summit is more than just an event. It is an experience. And today is not the last day that we're going to do this. Today, you guys get to be part of the founding partners of this movement to break up and till the land that is here in Houston County and other small towns. Our purpose is to bring the word of mental wellness, overall wellness to the small towns. Growing up here, being a little one of a family where mental health and mental wellness was in the front. It was discussions that we had at the kitchen table. And so it wasn't something that we necessarily shied from. However, it's not common to sit and talk about the hard parts, those soft parts of who you are. And so we kicking that idea out. Because today and every day moving forward, it's going to be okay to not be okay. It's going to be okay to need some support. It's going to be okay to be great as well, because there's a spectrum that we all fall into moment to moment, day to day. And so we hope that today you leave feeling lighter in your thoughts, lighter in your heart, and more free fully of yourself. Because being mentally free doesn't mean that life is perfect. If you figure out how to make that happen, let me know. But it means that you have awareness, the support, and the tools to navigate life, even when it's hard. So today, I encourage you to lean in, be present, take notes, ask great questions, connect with someone new, and most importantly, give yourself permission to receive whatever it is that you need from this space and this time today. And before we move forward, I want to take a moment to thank everyone that's going to be speaking today. If you could just give a wave, because you're going to have more of an introduction later. Also, we would like to thank our sponsors, organizers, and for the great city of Crockett for allowing us to bring this to the masses. So are y'all ready? That doesn't sound as enthusiastic. Okay. As I said, cheerleader by heart and by training. Yes. That's correct. So let's get started. I want to introduce our host. Our host for today is Frederica Wootson. I have known her all of my life. And most of hers. A little bit about Frederica is that she is a dynamic person. The fire that lives in her is one that you will get scorched if you do not know what to do with it, but not scorched in a bad way. sometimes a good warm flame, it burns off the stuff that's not necessary. And then fertile things can grow from that, right? And so I often just enjoy sitting, talking, and listening because great things come from Frederica Williams. And I hope that you guys receive all of that today. Here's our host, Frederica Williams.
What a beautiful introduction. There you go. It's always great to hear great things about you and be like, who they talking about? That sounded amazing. I'm gonna use that. I'm glad it was live. So that I can remind her, remember that time, that one day when you said those nice things? Remember that because I broke something. But it is amazing, as Corey said, to be here, to be a native of Crockett, Texas, and to matriculate off into education, work life, social life, all the lives that we live, right? And come back here with the wealth of knowledge and information that I have gained. And I was sharing with the team, thank God for the team, the other day that while I was here, growing up here, I had this strong burning that I was coming back to do something, that it was gonna be impactful, that I was coming back to help, coming back to the area to give whatever was in me to make sure that what was in me was placed in the ground as God saw it, to do whatever it is that he wanted to do. I can remember most of y'all probably had to do community service for college, and y'all can see this town, where we doing community service at? Dr. Anthea Fisher had us out there picking up trash on Martin Luther King. Anybody else pick up that trash? Oh, two of us? Okay. Well, who's out there picking up that trash? And while I was picking up the trash, I can see literally where I was right now, that railroad track that was right there at, what is that street now? That street, thank you, native of Crockett. That while we were there, what happened was I had that vision, I had that knowing, that fire was lit right then. I'm coming back to do something about this. I don't like this. And what I've come to notice is that the things that are our pain points, the things that get us frustrated, the things that get us aggravated, is usually the thing that we're called to do something about. Because the other people that it doesn't bother, are they gonna do something about it? No. Will they have the same energy, the same passion about it to do when they're doing it? No, you have to go find them. But let the person who's aggravated about whatever that thing is, they're coming forward. They're gonna come, they're gonna stay, and they're likely gonna have the willingness to do more with less, because of the thing that is in them, that call to do more. So I appreciate Corey's introduction, but I also wanted to introduce myself so you can know why we're here. We're not here just because it's April 11th and we got a room at the Civic Center. We're here because this was forewritten and foretold that this and many more will come to be. Why? Because there is a love and a heart for this city that I believe the Creator, God, has, and he wants to see it come into its fullness. One of the ways that it comes into its fullness is when the people come into their fullness. And the people can't come into their fullness if they are weighed down, bogged down with emotional and mental things. So we're here to clear the issue. So after you leave here, you say, I'm going out and do what I was made to do, right? Okay, all right. I hear the excitement. I hear the excitement. Well, anyway, I can deputize you because I have my clinical license, so I'm gonna say you're gonna be ready. If you're not ready, we'll connect you with somebody help you get ready. So we have a power-packed house today. with speakers. These speakers are, can we say, licensed, trained, resourced. So it is not just somebody who got a bright idea one day and said, I'm gonna come out here and talk to the people. You know, no knocking that, but if that's your thing, you know, it helps to get skills and resources and trainings. So the people here will share more about themselves. We'll also be giving introductions as well, so that people can know who's in the room, who's talking to them. So we're gonna get started, and I'll introduce her in just a moment. And we're going to have two speakers before lunch, because I know y'all probably like, we can be here all day, no food. So lunch is on our own. We have session 1, then session 2. Then we'll have a light break for a light lunch on our own. We'll definitely have some conversation and some giveaways. But also when we come back, we'll have the following sessions 3, 4, and 5, and then the keynote session from myself. At the end, we'll have the opportunity for you all to speak with the speakers, ask questions, as well as be able to, you know, partner with the resources that they have written or produced. So we're not just gonna come in and run out, we're gonna leave you with something, but you might have to pay for it. Okay. So first up, let me make a edit over here. I forgot the mic can move. Move the mic. And this is on full screen here. Like, whatever y'all see behind what you see on the people's internet. Okay. I'm clicking the button. I'll see you clicking the button. While Corey is on tech support, I'm going to introduce our first speaker for session 1. Her name is Julia Williams. Julia Williams is a leadership strategist, author of Jewel Seasons, and the host of a podcast called Let's Talk About It with Jules by Jules. Julia is passionate about helping leaders develop an innovative and authentic understanding of who they are and how they lead. Through holistic strategic methods and that integrate the mind, body, soul, and spirit, she equips the next generation of leaders. Can we say next generation of leaders? Especially women, to rise into their natural leadership and pursue their dreams one step at a time. Based in the DFW area, Texas area, Julia brings insight, inspiration, and practical wisdom to every stage. Come on up, Julia.
Good morning. Good morning. No. I'm a very expressive individual. I'm gonna take this mic off because I kind of walk a lot. So if I say good morning, I need everybody to say good morning. Good morning, everybody. It does sound like you had a little bit of grits this morning, you had a little bit of eggs and biscuits. So let me try one more time. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, you guys sound like you're ready for a good power packed today. Well, as Dee Federica, our host, says, my name is Julia. I am not from Crockett, Texas. I am not from Texas at all. So let me tell you a little story about me. I was born in New York, but raised in the island of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm an islander. Then for some odd reason, I decided to come back to America, started off in Florida. And then Florida decided to mess me up a little bit in a good kind of way. And I decided to move to the beautiful, now my favorite loving state called Texas. The mic went down? I'm a little loud. Oh, wow, because I'm a little loud. Can you hear me now without the mic? Oh, perfect. I know. I sure do. I do. The mic is connected there. Yeah, so. We're gonna need it. So we can take this one off. All right. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about identity today. So this is my topic today, and my assignment today is about identity. So I'm gonna kick this off with a little story, and it's like called The Case of the Stolen Identity. So back who I am and my background, I work in the legal department. And so everything about me is the legal, the law, everything about that, right? So this is a story. Do not laugh at the names. I decided this is who the names are going to be. So this is a story about Precious Pippa. Don't ask me how I got Precious Pippa, but Precious Pippa is her name. Precious Pippa was born very delightful. She was loved. She was ecstatic. She was everything you think about. And then one day, some things happened to Precious Pippa. And Precious Pippa decided to be a little bit mean, a little bit bitter, a little bit angry. And she was no longer Precious Pippa anymore. She started turning into Negative Nancy. Everywhere she turned, no one saw Precious Pippa any longer. She wasn't identified as sweet. She wasn't identified as loving. She wasn't even identified as as her name is, Precious, any longer. She became very negative because life changed her name. Life circumstances and trauma changed her name. And that's what we're going to talk about today, how life tends to come in and change your identity. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. First thing we're going to talk about is what is identity? Anybody can tell me what identity is? Like the full foundational word of what identity means? I talk back to the crowd, so I need people to talk back to me.
Who you are.
Who you are? I'll thank you. Anybody else could give me another definition of identity? You look like you have a word. Yes, go ahead, tell me.
Character, identity, what one.
See, thank you, thank you. So what Meridian says, identity has been described as the distinguishing character of personality of an individual. So I'll read that again for you. Identity is the distinguishing character or personality of an individual. And to me, identity is like your armor. So I'm gonna kind of break that down for you a little bit, what that looks like. So who you are is what people see. So as your armor for identity, it kind of like when people see me, they might see a strong, motivated, fearless, brave, and courageous individual. I just gave myself the characteristics of what people, when they see me, that's what they see. Sometimes in life, people see things on you that you don't even see for yourself. It is up to you as the individual with identity, and hence the reason why we're talking about mentally free. When you're mentally thoughts that people tend, as life comes on you, you tend to break that in and become who you see and who you are. And so let me tell you a story a little bit about myself. Okay. As I told you from the beginning, I was born in New York and raised in Trinidad. Now, if you know about island parents, they're a little bit intense. They tend to be a very intense individual people. And I want to say at age 5, my mom, as loving as she was, she had this thing, she had a temper on her. And one day I think I got her really angry, and she said to me, "That's it, I'm done. I'm about to sell you to the orphanage." And for me, at 5,
you're thinking, my mom don't want me anymore. So guess what identity I put on there? Rejection. That was the first identity that got slapped on me. The second thing, at age 15, a situation happened with a significant other that I will not express right at the moment, but I felt shameful. So shame came and put a big whopping slash on my body. And then I moved to the United States of America, and I went to try to go to school here. But everyone looks at me as a foreigner. Even though I was born here, I am born in America, but I was a foreigner. And then I had that rejection came again. So rejection became a little bit bigger, and bitterness became a little bit bigger. And so now my identity is switching. The way I saw myself begin to switch. And then I went to work. No one seemed to like Julia. And so now I felt like I wasn't good enough to be a leader, good enough to be anything that anyone put in front of me. So unworthy became another identity I put on. And then finally, about a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Wow. Now that becomes, well, now it's the end of the world. I'm just done. I'm not anything. I can't do anything. So now I'm looking at myself differently. When I look in the mirror, I see something totally different. Mentally, because of what I've experienced, I saw myself differently. And so when people saw me, they said, well, Julie, you're great. You're amazing. You're this, you're that. And I just could not see that person. What I saw and what I put off was the rejected individual, the abandoned individual, the hurt individual, the bitter individual, the offended individual. And so last year, while I was going through my chemo treatment and all the surgery and good stuff, I was at my job that I work right now. And my coworker, the moment I started there about 2 years ago, she's like, Julia, you don't see who you are. I'm like, I know who I am. You ain't gonna tell me who I am. I know who I am. Don't talk to me like that. I know who I am. She's like, no, you don't see who you are. And I'm like, whatever. I know who I am. You gotta tell me who I am. She's like, no. You need to know who you are. And I remember her telling me this. She said, remember what you bring to the table. Whatever that looks like, what do you bring to the table? And I had to look at myself one day in the mirror and say, what do I bring to the table? And what I bring to the table is a very confident individual, but do I act like it? Who I am is a strong, and I'm gonna say this, Black woman who is very able and capable, but do I believe it? We could say who we are, but if you don't believe it, believing is half the battle. Believing who you are is half the battle. And so it took me a minute for about a couple of months to recognize that Julia is capable of doing amazing things. And so when your host said, Julia, I need you to speak at my Mentally Free Summit, I looked at her like she was lost her mind. I was like, girl, I talking. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to people because I don't like how the way I hear myself. Lori's not why she like to hear herself talk. No, did you say that? No, that's not what you said. Oh, my bad. What did you say?
Learning to love.
Learning to love yourself. I don't like to hear myself talking, but I had to learn though. And I said, I don't know. So like you said, like I'm a praying person. I went to the Lord. I said, Lord, I need you to help me. And he said, I helped you already because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Who you are, I have already created inside of you. And so if you already know who you are, so basically you're telling me that because I'm giving you the tools don't work. I don't make garbage. Okay. All right. So he gives me an analogy. He said, when you have your car, you buy a new car, because I just bought a new car, y'all. Yeah, love it.
Nice car.
It's a very nice car. And he's like, when you buy your new car and you take it to get it fixed, who do you take it to? Do you take it to Kroger's? Do you take it to Costco? Do you take it to any other place? No, I take it to the dealership. He said, that's exactly what you do. I created you before the foundations of the world. And therefore, if you need a tune-up, a maintenance check, you need to go to the one who created it, who knows what the engine looks like, who knows what the transmission looks like, who even knows if you need brakes. Some of us don't like brakes. I learned that in Texas. Y'all rode stop signs in Texas. I'm telling y'all, I learned how to work and drive in Texas. You know, he knows what the brakes, he knows what the gas, he knows what type of gas you need. Some of us use 87, some of us use 94, some of us use different types of gas. Each one of us has a different type of oil that we use. But guess what? When I went to the mechanic began to give me a good tune-up. And I was like, okay, what is a tune-up? And then he sends what people call mechanics to help you with the tune-up. I know this all ties into identity, trust me, believe me, it ties into identity. Because the moment you start to go for your tune-up, he sends the right mechanics to help you get tuned up. And that's why you're here at Mentally Free. All your leaders here at Mentally Free is your assigned mechanics to help you get recharged, restart. Yes, Lord. So listen, when you're here at Mentally Free, everything might be sounds different to each one of you. And each one of us will bring something totally different. But today, I'm gonna tell you, God designed specifically for you to come to get a tune-up, a maintenance check, an oil change. Some of y'all need a new brakes, oil on your brakes. Some of y'all need a little bit of window washing because your vision is a little bit cloudy. And so today, when we're talking about identity, it will help you come into a place of understanding of when you are you cannot expect to be a Honda and want to get a Maserati brakes. It ain't gonna fit. And you can't be an Aston Martin or a Lamborghini and think a Toyota wheel or a Toyota door is gonna fit. Trust me, it's not gonna fit. Okay? So if you want to be a Tesla, be a Tesla. If you want to be a Lamborghini, be the Lamborghini. Even if you want to be an Escalade, just be the Escalade. Because not all size fits all. Everyone is created individually. Everyone's created uniquely. And that's what brings you to your identity. Do not allow your culture and race define your identity. Because your identity makes up who you are. This lovely lady in the center, we look nothing alike, but she has a very unique identity because of who she is. I like your hair though, it's kind of fly. I love it, love it, love fly hair, fly hair, fly hair. All right, so let's see. We're gonna talk about the positive some positive characteristics of identity. The first one is called courageous. Some of us don't know what it is to be courageous, brave, strong. They all mean the same thing, but when you walk in it, is that you're willing to tackle the hard things, even though it scares you. That's what it does. That's what an identity of being walking in courageous is, that space. The other one, we're good still? Oh. Fearless. When we did this a couple of weeks ago, I talked about being a warrior and being able to stand in a position of being fearless and not allowing fear to take over who you are. Because fear is a thing which is a negative. Fear tends to strip you of your true identity because it is something that stops you and make you look at things from a different perspective, right? Fear is a liar. And I want everybody to say that with me. Fear is a liar. Now say it one more time, like fear is a liar. Now you just told fear where to go. If you walk in that fear of that identity of fear, you just told it it's a liar. So every time you start going to do something and you're asked to do something at your job, at church, even at home, fear is a liar. Okay? Now, this is one that I sometimes struggle with, but we're working on it. God is working on it. It's called the insecurity. Insecurity is one of those horrendous things that makes you not want to do things because you feel like, I can't do this because everybody, you begin to start comparing yourself to everybody. And that thing of comparison is evil, depending on how you look at it. If you're comparing someone based upon their capabilities and you lessen your capabilities, that's when it becomes a problem. The host over there, I'm going to pick on you today because I can't. She is a counselor. She's a therapist. She's licensed. I don't got no license or therapist. I'm not that. However, that's her lane. She has people she needs to deal with. For me, I am a leadership strategist. I'm a mentor. I work in the legal field. I wrote a book. I have a podcast. She's not going to talk to the people that I got to talk to. But what makes me compare to her is that when I see her, I see that she can do many things, but it pushes me to do what I need to do. Okay, so find people. I'm gonna segue. I'm gonna be bouncing a little bit across a little bit, but I want you guys to always look at this from a perspective of find people that you can sharpen the tools that's already in you. Okay. So now, a couple of other ones that I'm just gonna spin over is enough. And I want you guys to say, I am enough.
I am enough.
Because when you know that you are enough, that's all that matters. You can do this if you're enough. So let me give you some other negative ones. I already gave you shame, bitterness. Those are the negative ones that tend to pop up. Okay. So how do you reclaim your identity? This part's going to be a little bit cliche, but it's okay. We're going to do it anyway. Your first step to reclaiming your identity is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not for anybody else, but for you as the person. Okay? So the first thing I always tell people is forgive the person that either hurt you, harm you, made you feel like you're not good enough, the situation that happened, forgive. Forgiveness is really letting go, because sometimes we don't like to let go. Sometimes we hoard our own feelings. And that's a bad thing. I'm talking from experience. So I'm talking from a place that just happened in like maybe a day or hour or two, like, forgiveness is something that tends to harbor, and you hold on to feelings, and you hold on to emotions, and you hold on to all these things, and you're like, but I don't wanna. But sometimes you're just gonna have to, because it helps you. It makes you better. Like right now, I have to forgive my body. Why? Because my body decided to do its thing. And that's okay. It had its thing. It did its do. And I forgive my body. I had to forgive my mom. I had to forgive the other situations. I had to forgive boyfriends. I had to forgive coworkers, managers, teachers. Don't let me go down the list, because I had to do a lot of forgiving, And forgiveness started helping to break down the old negative identity, so the new identities can now come and form. Okay. The second thing was, I needed to forgive myself, right? At the end of the day, if you forgive yourself, which is the hardest thing to do, because we never feel like we do something wrong. We feel like we're always right. That's the popular demand. We're not always right. Trust me, we're not always right. All right. So I had to go through a step of forgiving myself. One, for probably eating the wrong things, for probably thinking the wrong thoughts, for probably just being rude to people. Like, I just needed to forgive who I am. Forgive myself for going to places for a maintenance check where I wasn't supposed to go to the correct maintenance check. Right? You have to forgive yourself of going to things and doing things that you know very well you're not supposed to go to. So, forgive myself for taking that, what I ain't supposed to be taking, just saying that. And then the last thing is, I need to ask God to forgive me for being mad at him. Because when situations come and situations happen, the first person we blame is God. But God, why did you do this? But God, why did this happen? But God, why did this happen? But God, why did it? And we ask God, we're like, but why? And then we get angry. And then he's like, but I was there with you through it. I was there when you went through the throwing up. I was there with you when you're afraid to do the surgery. I was there with you when your friends betrayed you. I was there with you when your mom wanted to give you up. I was there with you. He's been there all the time. And I'm saying this for you to understand, for the ones in this room, and even the ones online, God is always with you. You may feel like he's not there because you're in it. You may feel like it because you're sitting in a space and you're trying to figure out, like, what? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't feel like you're here with me. I feel like my bank account don't look like it's supposed to look like. The relationship doesn't look like how I intend for it to look like. Everything doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like. But I'm here to tell you, God is in the bank account too. God is in the relationship too. God is in every single thing that you do, is if you're willing to turn and because he's standing right there with you, but you just have to turn and accept the fact that he's there with you, and he will walk you through it no matter what. So, are we good? Are you sure? Y'all kind of quiet. I don't know. Y'all a little quiet. Y'all quiet right now. So I'm gonna hand y'all something fun, because it's the leadership in me, So I'm gonna give you guys what's called my identity assessment. This is gonna give you a couple minutes. No, I'm gonna give it to you. And I think, click in the box, there's, I think, more people, it's in the folder. You got it, thank you. So I'm gonna hand you guys this identity assessment. Thank you, sweetie. And I want you to take some time and I want you to be very, very honest on the assessment. And when you're done, I want you to I'm gonna give you guys about 2 minutes to like really be fully honest with your assessment. And ask yourself these questions because this is going to help you in the long run.
No cheating, we're looking on the other people's paper. Does anybody else need a pen?
Oh, that's right. You know, I can forget it. Hi, online people. So I'm gonna give you the online people. I'm gonna give it to our host as a link, and she'll add it to the link, but so you can fill it out on your own. So one of the questions that kind of popped out at me was my background, culture, family, community plays an important role in my identity. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes or no? You can put it on your paper, yes or no. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you for host for helping me. Thanks for
Keep reading.
the other one. I understand my core values and beliefs. Yes or no? Now, here's the thing. Some of y'all may not understand what core values or beliefs are. So I've learned that core values is what we call, for me, this is my definition of core value, is my non-negotiable. What makes me, what builds me up, who makes me who I am is my core value. And then I can describe my personality accurately, yes or no. I'm gonna tell you, I put no on that multiple times because I just didn't know I was this funny and bubbly. All right. And I feel comfortable being myself in most situations, yes or no? Who in here is very comfortable being? That's my girl right there. She went her hand straight up first. I love it, Trinity. She said, I know. I feel comfortable being myself in most situations. You saying no over there? She said absolutely not. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. Why not?
I feel if I were to be my true, authentic self, I'm gonna feel judged. Well, maybe it's also my career. I do a job where it's complaints, regulations, regulatory. I really don't have the option to be me. So even at home, I'm still being mom. I'm being this person to this person, but am I truly being me? You know, so my true self, I kind of shut it down because I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be so it feels heavy. So if I go to places, I feel more heavy than, hey, I could have went here and had a good time. You know what I mean? Because I want to fit in a box that wasn't for me. So yeah, I feel uncomfortable because I never can be my true authentic self. But I'm trying to do the work. That's why I'm here.
Good. Come on now. All right. So can I exactly like that, right? Because, sorry, when I was like a little bit about, say 10, I was an avid reader, read books consistently, right? And one day, my mom was calling me in the kitchen. She was like, Julia, Julia. And then she went to my full name. So when your parents call you by your full name, you're in trouble because you didn't hear them the first 2 times that they called you. And I didn't hear her. And my dad snatched my book and he flinged my book across the room and he's like, you're always reading a book. And that moment stopped me completely. I stopped reading. I didn't want to read a book no more. I didn't want to. So now who I am began to shrink, right? And then I started walking around and I didn't realize I was goofy. I'm the goofiest person in the world. Like, nobody can tell me I'm not goofy. I laugh at my own jokes, right? But it took me a while to get there, but I will submit to you, who you are is what makes up when you come out. So if you continue to hide who you are, regardless if you do regulatory, because if you're working for bank, is it a bank?
Insurance, health insurance.
Oh, even better. You can come out, you shouldn't be allowed to hide who you are. Because who you are in that moment doesn't define your job. You are who you are because of who you are, not the job. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that do not hide who you are because of your job. And how you can do that is by seeing yourself first, not the job. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Name one thing that you do not like about yourself.
Internally.
Internally.
Just people please, like, like I'm a people pleaser. So, I mean, it goes with every aspect of, like you said, work, friendship, home, husband, wife, children, it doesn't get out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to not so much people please and know what you want. What do you want for them? What is it that you want?
Okay, so I ask you that question.
Yeah, and just even like you said, even in your work, hey, I'm showing up as me. This is me, so I can do the work, but I can show up as myself, not who people want you to be, or what's my idea of what people want me to be.
Okay.
So
So-
that.
Okay. And then what do you do like about yourself internally?
I love internet. I love to, I love to laugh. I love to have fun and have a good time. In my work, I don't know how to make it stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's so
Rigid.
yes. And in that, this year, I just had a traumatic experience. These past 2 years. Life was heavy, so I did the work. Like you said, culture, never do therapy, but my entire family did therapy after this season, so in that, I created my business and I'm in the space where I want to celebrate, I want to smile, I want to just radiate and give that energy that I would love to have every day of my life, my purpose, so go back to how something has to break completely. And like you said, your identity, you're picking up things that were not even a part of your core, so letting go of things that have you picked up along the way. Yeah. And getting back to what is your purpose? Why are you here? Yeah. What is the important thing long term? So I'm excited about it.
So I can tell you this right now. You're already on a journey. You already started it. Keep going. Because you already made a decision that you want to be better.
Mhm.
The fact that you identified what that thing
Mhm.
is your first starting point.
Mhm.
And now you're gonna do the work. So I have an assignment for you. So I want you to, in your mirror at home, get a Sharpie.
Mhm.
And I want you to write every day 3 different things that you like about yourself.
Okay. I'll do.
And then every day, you just say, I am beautiful. I am a winner. I am successful. Just 3 different things and change it up. You may use that same 3 2 weeks from now,
Right.
but change it up. Because what that does is now it's trying to kind of reverse the things that's inside of you. Okay? So that's your homework. So next time I decide to show up in Crockett, I'll come find you and see you.
I'm gonna show on your podcast.
All right now. Come visit. Okay. So finally, everyone's done with their assessment. So I want you guys to take those lovely assessment and I want you to fold it in half. Fold that puppy in half. Oh, mom's already on it. I love it, mom. Fold it in half. And I want you guys to close your eyes. And I want you to think the same thing I told Veronica. I want you to think of one thing internally, by yourself, you don't have to say it out loud, that you don't like about yourself. One thing that one thing. I'll give you a second. And then I want to take that one thing that you like about yourself. You guys have it? If you have it, say yay. Okay. Now, the one thing that you don't like about yourself, I want you, in the midst of see yourself writing it on a piece of paper internally. So see yourself writing out one thing you don't like about yourself. Let me know if you wrote it down. And then I want you to see yourself tearing up that piece of paper. And as you tear up that piece of paper, you're gonna say bye-bye to that old identity. Say bye to the old identity. Bye. Now, the very thing that you wrote down that you like about yourself, is your new identity. And I want you to take that and I want you to say it internally on the inside, or if you're comfortable with saying it outside. You want to say it like I would say, one of my newest identities is I am free. My other one is I am healed. I have joy. This is just me spilling it out because this is who I am. I am full of peace. You tell me I'm looking. Oh, I went on my 40 minutes. This is amazing. I love it when I reach my time. So, as you guys done, for my gift to you all, I'm gonna give you guys a mirror. And each mirror, as Dee for Derek, gives you guys one. Give you one. And I want you guys to take that and remind yourself, because each one has a specific word and it's identifier of who you are. And so I want you on a daily basis, look in the mirror and give yourself the new characteristics of who you are as your identity. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing, Julia. And she said she didn't know how to do it, y'all. How do we get this?
You need a charger. It went to sleep because
Oh,
you
it's-
on bed. You went to sleep. It was good.
Oh, it's no worries. Rock and roll here. This is going to be a pivot here. We're gonna, as Julie was talking about that identity, you know, sometimes we get fixed in a way and get fixed in a thought life, fixed on how things are gonna go, and they don't go that way. And that messes us up. And if we're not able to pivot, then sometimes that can be a hard thing. As we move forward in session 2, can y'all say session 2? Hi, y'all all right? Did y'all make it? She was trying to pull y'all, pull y'all edges back if you got some. And so I was like, all right, she going deep early this morning. I'm like, what we gonna do when it's my turn? Dang, y'all, I need some crumbs. Leave me some crumbs, y'all, okay? So we have here coming up on for session 2, I'm gonna introduce the lovely Corey Riley. Corey Riley is a licensed, can we say licensed, trained, resource? That's our words, right? Licensed professional counselor and the founder of Journey to Grace Counseling and Collective. She supports children, teens, adults, couples, and families. Can you say she do a lot of stuff? Through life's hardest moments, helping them build coping skills, emotional strength, and healthier relationships. Before opening her counseling practice, Corey worked as an elementary school teacher, school counselor, and child welfare investigator. Those experiences gave her a deep understanding of how stress, trauma, and family challenges affect kids and parents at every stage of their life. Corey achieved a childhood goal when she became a published children's author with her first book, Our New Normal, published in 2022. Corey is a proud wife to her high school sweetheart, Chris, a fellow Crockett, Texas native, and a mom of 2 children, Jackson and Trinity. Her work is shaped not only by her professional training, but also by real life as a parent, partner, and community member. In addition to her counseling work, Corey was selected to participate in the 2026 Mavs Business Assist Program through the Dallas Mavericks, where she continues to grow her work in mental health, education, and community impact. Today, Corey will be sharing practical tools for coping with stress, understanding how the nervous system works, and supporting mental wellness in families with children of all ages. Her goal is to make mental health simple, helpful, and something families can actually use at home. Join me in welcoming Corey.
One of the things that I say often is you have to do the P's, which is pause, pivot, or push forward. And so as the technology has been switched over, we are doing those P's. Pause it for just a second. Pivoting in between speakers. And now we're gonna push forward. All right. So I appreciate the introduction. I am grateful for the opportunity to be here, as said before. And today, you guys are going to get involved into another world. Who, as a child or as an adult, because there's still a child that lives within us, read comic books? Show me with your hand. Or maybe you enjoy a great illustrated book with lots of pictures, maybe more pictures than words. or maybe just a few pictures and lots of words. So, today, as we dive into becoming superhumans, the conversation today will be also, how do we develop and raise super kids? If you are a parent, grandparent, caregiver, just like kids or have children in your life on a consistent basis, can you show me with your hand? All right, so just about everyone in here in one way or another are connected to children. Who is connected to the child that still lives within you? Maybe you enjoy being silly, dancing, singing in the mirror. Maybe you enjoy painting. Maybe the kid in you enjoy mowing the yard, and so you go outside and you mow and you hum or what have you. And so the child, just because you turned 18, that child within you did not just graduate, move out of you. It is still living, breathing, and a part of you. And so the experiences of your youth travel with you day to day. The experiences of you as an adult stay alive and well, no matter what. So a little bit about me. As shared in the intro, I am a Crocketeer. I lived in Crockett until I graduated from Crockett High School, and then I went to University of North Texas, so many dreams. And I love North Texas so much, I decided to stay there. I'm a walker, so you just broaden out that view, because I'm not gonna be. But, so my first big job was as a inspector investigator for Family Protective Services. I did that for 8 interesting years. I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about families, the needs of the communities that I covered in Dallas County, Denton County, and several of the smaller North Texas counties. From there, I decided I wanted to actually use a little bit of my education, which is counseling. And so I went into the school district as a elementary teacher for a while, and then transitioned to being a school counselor. And then COVID hit, and man, did it hit, right? It turned the world on its side, and we had to learn how to do life completely different. We had to learn how to do education differently. Talking with our loved ones, living, going to the store, everything was different. And in that moment, I had a front row seat of what it looks like when a child has major differences and they're looking at the adults to figure out, what do we do? How do children learn is the question. Well, they learn through the lenses of the adults around them. When the adults around you, or around the children, are in a good, calm place, they have a firm grip for the most part on the circumstances and how to resolve them, then the children can trust that everything's gonna be okay. And so COVID gave me that opportunity. At that COVID, I was partially a kindergarten teacher for the first year of it. Imagine teaching a class of kindergartners virtually online, just suddenly, chaos. I also had 2 little children of my own at that time who were my co-teachers by proxy, because I had to do virtual learning, virtual teaching to kindergartners and have toddlers running around at the same time. Lots of drawing on the wall was happening in the Routley household. And that led me to authoring Our New Normal. Our New Normal is a book that was planted, the seed was planted with COVID, but it transcends across every situation. And so the purpose of that book is to help children and anyone that reads it understand that life happens, circumstances happen that are out of your control. How do you create your new normal within that? How do you use your imagination, use the tools that you have to create some normalcy and feel safe in that? That's how we all, as children and adults, understand our safety is by outwardly looking to see if we're safe, and then inwardly checking in to see if we are safe. Moving forward, from our new normal, I was given the opportunity to go into private practice as a licensed professional counselor and play therapist, and then transitioned shortly from there to founding Journey to Grace Counseling. The name Journey to Grace is twofold. It is, we're all on a journey to grace, a journey to figuring out who we are and what our purpose is, and being okay with that, being okay with the stickiness that comes with that. Also, JTG are my children's initials, Jackson and Trinity Grace. And so, the goal was to create a legacy for them as well, that doesn't just provide financial stability, but it creates a future that, they can be a part of healing generations. And so, then comes the journey of public speaking. I've been given the opportunity to speak to school districts, to Dallas County probation officers, to Denton, City of Denton workers, and I'm honored to be in the room with you guys. So my why, there's a village, you know, it says it takes a village. That village can look a lot of different ways. That village can be small, it can be large. Trust your village. And if you look around and you're in moments and you need a village, build it. It's okay to start with the first link and then find those safe people, find those ones that have a genuine interest in you, and you build a village from there. Let's talk about why we're here, the objectives, because you can take the teacher out of the classroom, but you can't take the classroom out. Okay, and so, I have been, able to take big, complex ideas. This is the gift that has been placed within me, especially as an educator of littles. Take big, complex, medical terminology and break it down into bite-sized chunks that you can eat, digest, and understand. And so today, we're going to understand resilience and its role in child development. Resilience is the key word that you're going to hear over and over in this talk. Resilience and how that translates into creating super kids, super individuals, superheroes. We're also going to talk about the unique challenges that our youth face today, because listen, it's hard out here for our youth. They have barriers and hurdles that we never had to face. We'll also learn to implement those strategies, because I don't want to just give you the fish, I want to teach you how to fish, so that when you leave here, you can talk to someone that either works with children or have the language yourself to talk to whatever child or whatever inner child that you need to have a conversation with. We're gonna learn how to model it through problem solving, create stable environments, and encourage effort over outcome. We'll get deeper into that right now. So what is resilience? Resilience in itself is the ability to adapt, to be a chameleon, right? So a chameleon starts out one color, and then when it gets onto an environment that is different from the outer color, it changes. It doesn't change who it is. It's still a chameleon at the end of the day, but it adapts, it changes so that it can be its best self, be safe wherever it has landed. Resilience also is the ability to recover and grow stronger from your experiences. And so, as the saying goes, life's. We can't stop that from happening. It's just, how does it impact you? Do you turn into Swiss cheese when life lives with you? Do you have those holes that just leave you whistling in the wind? Or do you turn to a duck instead, where you get covered? You might be soaking wet, but it just washes right off of you. Those feathers glisten in that moisture instead of drag down. Okay. Some of the common misconceptions or some of the common misbeliefs when it comes to resilience is that it means nothing ever happened. You know, I've had many people tell me before, boy, you just got it all figured out. You just make life look so easy. I had an older cousin that took time out of her day one day to send me this long encouraging message saying how she is inspired by me. She's 20 years older than me. And she sent me a long message saying that she's inspired just by how easy I made life look. Emphasis on that second half of the story, of the sentence. It may look easy, but it's not. I've just really had to learn very early how to embody resilience, how to let those hits come and let it either bounce off or learn from it. And that's what one of the things we're gonna dive into. Another misconception is you're just born resilient or you're not. You know, some people can handle it, some people can't. That's not true. There is a level of nature and nurture. There is a level of some people just genetically have the ability to withstand difficulties. And some people genetically are at have more weak points where, you know, if they hear that something did not go well, they fall apart a little bit easier than the person that has the genetic makeup to be a little bit stronger. But what we'll learn today is that resilience can be taught. If you find yourself on one of the firmer ends and maybe you want to strengthen that muscle, don't worry, you'll become a superhero today. One of the last misconceptions is that being resilient means that you're just able to handle it by yourself. You don't need anybody because you're strong enough to do it. That's not resilience. That is isolation. Two different things. A resilient person knows that they are best when they pair in with others. A resilient person knows that it's not just knowing how to do it, it's knowing who to join in with you to help carry the load. So what does resilience mean to you? When you think back into before you walked through the door, before I started to break down in misconception, what did you consider the strongest person? Think about who that person is. Who you might have admired, who you're like, that person has it all together. What were some of the characteristics that led you to that belief? As Julia said, I am a factor, so I welcome conversation.
I think resilience, the ability to adapt to objection, rejection, and the knowing all that you know, depending on God to hold your hand through it all.
I heard few things that knowing that things may fall apart, but maybe it's not your job to put it back together. Maybe you can lean on someone or the one to put it back together because they can do a better job.
So some of the characteristics that I saw that people thought were revealed are, they really had a way of navigating what they were experiencing in a way, like a tool to help them navigate what they were experiencing. That looked to me as if like they had it all together. And I think the tools, because they certainly felt, I'm sure, but the tools that they used in the moment were not stagnant. They might have been stagnant inside internally, but they did something between that internal work and the external to be able to present a picture of others.
Yeah. So being able to endure and then in the moment have what you need, either because again, you just are one of those that has the strength to be able to push through, or you allowed yourself to gather the tools to put them in place. And then demonstrate outwardly that recovery. You know, I think that's really important is that many of us assume that a resilient person, they just bounce out of the situation. But No, they probably smacked, hit, landed, had no other choice but to look up and then get up, right? And so I think if you have also.
So I've been seeing that type of thing. And what you just said is exactly what's been true. It's, everything falling apart and not having choice but. And you don't, when everything falls and you don't have a choice. You get up, you put God in focus, and you keep going. Not because you are just made that way, but because he's the only other choice in the situation.
And that, what they were saying, heavy is the crown, and so for those of us that are in roles and wear a lot of different hats and we, have the push that, okay, I can't stay down too long. I gotta go, I gotta keep going. Sometimes that resilience is without a choice. But there's still an important key of being vulnerable, being soft, being smushy is okay. So, for the sake of time, we're gonna speed through because I wanna make sure that you guys get your lunch in appropriate time and we get back. If you'd like to know more about raising super kids and being resilient, I will happily continue the conversation. So studies have shown that 40%, there's a 40% increase amongst young adults experiencing anxiety just from the last generation. Just from a decade ago, 40% increase. And so that means when you're in a room of 10 people, there may have been one person before that had anxiety. Now add 4 more. That's just in a small room. If you're in a large room, just imagine at least half of the individuals in there are experiencing anxiety. And very recently, statistics, research showed that mental health is the greatest health crisis that we're in as a nation. Greater than cancer, greater than obesity, greater than heart disease is mental health, mental wellness. Which is why we're here. This is why we're championing and getting the conversation started, because we don't want it to end that way. Just because there's a rise doesn't mean we can't grab it and bring it. And we're gonna all rally together and lock arms to do that. And so, when it comes to our youth, the screen time, these little devices and all the other devices, they're great when we think we're using them as a distraction. But what is happening is that we're losing our social acuity. We're losing the ability to be in space with each other and know how to interact, know how to talk, know how to, feel the time without having to feel the time with someone else, right? And so in the past, there was limited access to information. So we relied on books and the oral sharing of what's going on. Today, though, there's an overload because you have information at your fingertips at all times. There's access to news and social media. The world is telling you what to think and how to think, what to feel and how to feel, what to look like and how to look like it. And so what that does is it steals the ability to create that world for yourself on your own. And so when we lean too far into that, it really creates a handicap. That's why we put Linda's in the Raleigh home on social media. And screen time. It's such a blessing to have a mom that is a mental health professional for children and families. Where there was more face-to-face socialization, when you wanted to go outside, man, we went outside, didn't we? And then wanted to stay outside. The light came on, well, I'll go in the yard, but I'm not going in the house, right? And now there is this digital world that our youth prefer. And that's not so much because of them just believing it on themselves. It's the adults. We created that. When the milk carton started showing faces on it, then we started in that parental generation to start to not allow our kids to be as outwardly free. The only challenge is that milk carton is not the true depiction of reality. There are risks out there, but the risk is actually more in here and in there and in here than it ever is outside. Just statistically speaking. I'm also happen to be married to a police sergeant who can attest, I would assume, that there are dangers outside, but there are more dangers inside. All right. So, in the past, there were fewer distractions and there was a stigma around talking through these type of things. Now, there is an increased need for these conversations. Not that, hard stuff is, not there, but there's a different need. We need to raise our hand and say, I'm not okay. There's strength in that. There's, someone else that's not okay. And when you had the, audacity to say it out loud, when you took on that role to say, I'd like to know more, I want to talk to someone, or I need to journal this out, or I need to read a book that's going to give me information that will strengthen me. Guess what? There's someone else, and probably 5, 6, 7, 8 more that you gave a voice to by saying those things. So, emotional intelligence. It's not just all about IQ, about being smart and knowing things, but do you know how to feel? Do you know what you're feeling? Do you know what to do with those feelings when you feel them? That's what emotional intelligence is. And unfortunately, many of us, especially our youth, have a very low EQ, very low emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is being able to be self-aware, recognize your emotions. Self-regulation, do something healthy with those emotions. Motivation, keep going, even though it's hard. Empathy, recognize in others what they may be doing, and then go a little bit further, feel it with them. So sympathy is just head knowledge, and that's us. But empathy is to be able to sit with it and maybe even adjust your response to be compassionate, caring, or careful with them. And then EQ requires social skills, being able to communicate, to resolve conflict in person or voice to voice, not behind, these courageous fingers, that type thing, but instead really being solved. So the question is, how do you help children understand that? For the sake of time, ponder that. I'm gonna give you the answer. Cheat sheet, straight to it. So when it comes to parenting, some practical strategies are start with encouraging a growth mindset. Teaching our kids that life is gonna life, things will be hard, but they are to help you grow. If you plant seed and you just lay it on top of the ground, nothing happens. I take that back. Something might happen. A bird may come, swoop it up, and they have a good meal. But nothing has grown with the purpose of why you planted it. Instead, it requires for the ground that it's on to be broken, for the seed to be planted underneath that dirt and that muck, then watered, given all that it needs to grow. What it needs, that air, that water, that sunlight, that comes through next. The praise of effort, the encouragement. We kind of walked into the Green Participation Award time, and that has taken out a little bit of the push of having the first, second, third place, because everyone, there's a balance that we need. Sometimes there needs to be a first place winner, and that person be praised because their effort got them there. But in other situations, it is okay and necessary to just acknowledge the progress that you tried. that could be enough as well. So allow also age appropriate independence. There's a helicopter parent that hovers, or there is the parent that comes and checks in, gives them reasonable opportunity to make risks, helps when it looks like they need the help, but doesn't take it from them. Let the child, let the young adult, let the adult. Also, if you're a parent of firm adults, let them make the choices and solve the problem. If it's not gonna kill them, what will it do? Make them stronger. And that is in reality. We try to keep them alive and in that, push them to do more, do what they can. Also, model healthy coping skills. If you are a parent or an adult who crashes out or falls apart, don't be surprised when you look over and you see your child crashes out or loses control. Children, as I shared before, they learn through the lens of the adults around them. And so it does require us to regulate us so that we can co-regulate together. It requires for me to be able to say out loud, this is hard and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna figure it out so that the children around me can know it's okay to say this is hard. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna figure it out. Lastly, create a safe and supportive environment. Let our kids know that it's okay to make mistakes. All right, so what does allowing safe mistakes do? It builds their ability to solve problems, to be able to think logically, because if you get in front of that connection, then what you've taught is that the adult has the answer. I don't have to figure it out. I can just wait for someone else to figure it out for me. I have several adult clients that I work through some childhood wounds with, that those wounds stunted them right there where they were, because the adults, even in well-meaning situations, did not give them the opportunity to see the whole picture before they jumped in and rescued. And so giving the time to be able to think through and adapt, be critical, be logical, also just feel it. We don't have to rescue our kids from their emotions, especially our male kids, our boys. Allowing them to be able to just saturate in that sadness, that fear, that uncertainty. Let them know this may be uncomfortable, but I'm safe. Encourage independence. Let them find confidence that they know how to handle challenges. When you've had a hard situation happen and you get to the other side of it, you look back, it doesn't hold the same weight anymore. You know, I can think through lots of times in my life where I thought there was a situation that should take me out. There were many situations that could have near-death situations that had all of the ingredients to end me. But when I look back at it, I learned some things from it. I became stronger. I also may have learned how to, work around that risk so it doesn't happen again. Mistakes also teach emotional regulation. If you never go through nothing, you don't know what to do with it. And so giving the opportunity to hit a bump lets you know, okay, next time I need to slow down when I get to that situation and go over it with grace. Lastly, you can foster resilience. So what does it look like? Don't fix the problem for our children. Don't shield them. Focus on protection, and that's it. Not for rescuing, but let me keep you safe. That's my job, keep you emotionally and physically safe, but not to avoid it, not to avoid the hiccups. Never try to prevent discomfort, just be with them in it. Also, being able to encourage those low-risk moments and then praising them through. When they get to the other side, I knew there was something to do. That's one of my favorite phrases, right? Around the kids, I knew there was something to do. Because that was always something they could do. They just needed to get through it and try it. As adults, we need to know that children are watching that they are observing, that they are noticing where your strengths are, and where your weaknesses are, and then they are using that information for themselves. One, to see, okay, well, when grandpa cried for this, it wasn't because he was broken, it was because it mattered. Or when grandma burnt her arm cooking that, and she, yelled out some things, well, that makes sense, because it hurt. So that gives me the opportunity as a kid to know, okay, I can be sad, I can be hurt, I can be silly, I can be goofy, I can also be courageous, I can be firm, all those things. Kids pick that up from the first moment when they are brought into this world, and they just keep continuing to understand that. Respond versus reacting. This is hard as a mom, I have to say. Staying calm when I feel like screaming, keeping my hands to myself when I feel like talking to somebody. Because every situation doesn't require that. And so checking, that's where that regulate, so you can co-regulate. Check within yourself. Okay, what about this is irritating me? What is this? Am I feeling disrespect? Am I feeling frustration? Am I feeling confused? Whatever that is, I need to know my feelings wheel, what's happening. And then, once I got that, I can then give myself what it means. Okay, I need to take a breath before I talk this out. I need to walk out the room, I need to drink some water, I need to pray, I need to hum, whatever that is, to give myself what I need, regulate, and then I can co-regulate. I can talk to my child or the child with some clarity. I can communicate in a way that hopefully they'll be able to grasp and understand instead of just responding. Normalize the mistake, demonstrate self-care. That's where that walking out, taking the time that you need, giving yourself what you need, and then persevere through action. Show persistence. Just because it was hard, you don't give up. That's where those 3 P's come in. Pause, pivot, or press forward. Pause. Sometimes, you know what? I can't give this any more of me. I just need to step away. That's okay to pause. Or maybe there's an argument about to happen between 2 adults. Pause. Allow yourself both to be able to think through what you need to say so that you can speak through your mind and not through your feelings. Pivot, try something different. If it didn't work, there's other avenues. Or press forward after that pause. You might, have the clarity to just put the pieces together now. You just couldn't do it at that exact moment. Classroom mistakes are very similar from what we see at home. But the challenge is we don't oftentimes take the time to give our students what they need. This is a point where, especially when I'm speaking with educators, I talk about the 25% decrease in disciplinary actions when you allow mindfulness moments in school. Being able to teach emotional regulation in every environment actually increases the opportunity to excel academically and be successful personally. So the language, how do we talk to them? How do we shape it through our words? Using supportive language instead of judgmental language. Being able to speak to our kids, speak to their self-belief, motivate them, give them a positive worldview. So here's some statements. On our left side, we have the judgmental language. You're not good at this. I don't even know why you tried. Stop crying. It's not a big deal. That was a bad choice. Sarcastically, you're so smart. On the growth side of it, instead of you're not good at this, you're still learning. Keep practicing. It lets you know there's room for growth. You don't have to figure it out the first time. You have to figure out the 10. Just keep practicing. Instead of stop crying, I see you upset. The next part is, how can I help? Maybe you can take some time to let those feelings die down. It's okay to just take a breath. But not telling someone to take a breath because you don't feel comfortable with their feelings, but instead allow them to take a breath because they need it, you know? That was a bad choice. Let's figure out what we can do differently. What would have helped this to, get through without the hiccup? And then instead of that sarcastic, you're so smart. Well, I love how you worked hard on this. Like really noticing the effort instead of tearing down the attempts. We're pushing the gas to get through. Some life transitions. When we're going from 0 to 5, early childhood, there's a lot, that's the biggest transitional period of one's life. It happens in lightning speed, and it is important during that period of time to have encouragement, empowerment, stability, and having those safe risks. If you get stunted in that window of time, then that childhood, that child that's in you will really need support as an adult. If you have negative and hurtful experiences in potty training, it creates things as an adult. If you have negative experiences that you're weaning from a pacifier to a bottle or off the bottle, then it will create things as adults. Sometimes the oral addiction comes from that inability to transition well in that phase. In your school year time, when you're going from 6 to 12 years old, the first day of school, changing teachers, making friends, those are natural life transitions that adults should be a part of and should encourage. In adolescence, during puberty, high school, getting your first job, more life transitions that create opportunity for resilience. It just needs to be modeled and supported. So the takeaways as we're coming down the field of information. Resilience is not built, not born, resilience is built, not born. We can always grow stronger in that. Emotional intelligence matters. It's not just what you know, it's how you feel. You can be super smart and extra weird. So it's important to be able to bridge the knowledge of fear with knowledge here in your heart. Safe mistakes are learning opportunities. Emphasis on safe mistakes. That doesn't mean, I'm gonna let my child get behind the wheel and drive and I'm in the passenger seat. We're gonna take safe risks. Instead, maybe let's try driving in a go-kart together. Again, you just scaffold what is appropriate and not throwing them out there. Transitions are key moments. We may think, well, why is my child, having such a hard time with getting a new teacher? You're getting in the summer. Why are you sad? You should be excited. That's another grief point in life for a child. Any change of something that they've come into and settled with, that's a grief moment, and it should be handled as such. A lot of individuals will say that children are just little adults. Children are children. And they need to be given the tools to become adults, right? To have that stability and support. And strong relationships, no matter if it's the parent is important, but if the parent relationship can't be that strong relationship, then having other strong, healthy, safe relationships can be the key to developing the resilient and a healthy adult. And then language shapes that belief. How you're talked to and how you talk to yourself. Listening to the words that you use, encouraging yourself, speaking life into moments, letting yourself know that it's okay. Right? I would love to take any questions that you guys have after lunch. We're going to transition to feeling not just our minds and our hearts, but filling our bellies as well. And so I'm grateful for just a chance to plant this seed. I hope it fell on fertile ground, that when you have a conversation soon with a little one in your life, that you think about the words that you're using. my hope for you is that when you are interacting with a person in the store and you hear maybe frustration on the other aisle, that you may just share a smile with it, because that could be the key to lighting up that child's day, knowing that there's an adult somewhere that saw them, believes in them, and wants them to feel okay. If you have more questions, here's my contact information. Stay connected. You can follow me on the medias, send me an email, and I would love to continue this conversation in other environments with adults that want to help create super kids. Thank you.
Very amazing. Thank you, Corey, for, it's all right. Thank you for, getting us into the lunch hat. Wait a little bit. So what we're gonna do right now is be a part of the Go Eat crew. Who ready to go eat? Okay, so we have had the 2 morning dynamic sessions. How y'all doing? Y'all feeling like the freedom is percolating in you? Okay, well, we gonna get some food and then we gonna go right back in. And guess what? You have more, okay? So the more is gonna include, a talk from, Jeff Allen, our mental health coach, a talk from Dr. Raven Milton, our pharmacist here, a talk from Dr. Tiffany Newsom, and a talk from myself, from Darren Caboose. So, for those of you who are joining us online, you get to come right back on YouTube at 1:10 and join us back online. So, online, we're signing off, and here y'all get to break for lunch.
Yes, I just need to unmic first. Okay.